What is optimization on blog articles? SEO, search engine optimization. And why do we want to do it? Well, you put all this time into writing these fantastic blog articles, and you want to make sure that they're written and structured in a way and optimized in a way that they're going to do as well as they can in search, and that people will actually find them, read them, get attracted to your business because of them. So it pays off to spend a little bit of time, and sometimes a lot of time, going back through your blog article and optimizing it using WordPress plugins like Yoast. So in this tutorial, we'll look at how to do that. First thing we'll jump into is the blog itself, which is about creative ground and bed cover. We've got some mulch content in here. We've got some information about stones, and we've got soils and things like this, right? Which I would actually split into 3 separate blog posts just to make sure that we're optimizing properly, or at least getting as specific as possible about each of those 3 things. Because really those are 3 distinct categories, and it's really hard to optimize for many things in one article, and you want to really pick one thing and do it really well each time you write a blog post. So in this one, let's assume that we're talking about mulch to start with. And the way we can start doing some research around what people are searching for with mulch is to head on over to answerthepublic.com. We're going to talk to this guy. We're going to stick in mulch, and we're going to hit get questions. And this is going to do some searching, searching on searching. It's going to figure out what people are searching for with regard to mulch, and it's going to provide some suggestions or some ideas for us to build on using their visualization and their data. So right now there's this pretty visualization. I find it easier to interpret when I click the data tab. And then I can see what kind of questions people are typing into Google and other search engines with the search term mulch. So we're now starting to see that people are confused as to what mulch is. Is it the same as compost? Can you recycle the bags? Can you put it in yard waste? We want to find the people who we're trying to sell to. So the people who are trying to buy it, what types of questions are they asking? And how can we answer those questions in a useful, informative blog post? So that's how you can kind of reverse engineer your content to put it in front of those potential buyers, which are out there when you look at some of these terms, such as mulch, where to buy. So that would be a very useful title for our blog article itself. So I'm actually just going to copy this, where to buy, because I know people are searching for that. And I'm going to stick it right in my post. And I'm going to do a little bit of restructuring too, because here we're opening with information about the company. This is great information. It's just not something I would lead with, because you don't really want to enter any sales conversation talking about yourself. You want to enter a sales conversation or a marketing situation talking about the benefits that are provided by the service or product that you're offering your customers, because that's what they're interested in. They'll be interested in you and what you can do for them later once they realize that they want what you have. So we're going to save that for the end. So I'm going to do some cutting and pasting here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to retitle this section, or this area here, all you need to know. Let's call that mulch, where to buy. Make it a little more human readable, because it doesn't have to be exactly in that order, but where to buy mulch. And we got to make sure that that's no longer a paragraph. Let's make sure that's a heading. Where to buy mulch. And because we want it to be region specific, let's do in Kitchener, Waterloo. And that'll help with some nice regional specific geolocation, search engine optimization. A bunch of fancy words for people in that area should be able to pick up on that title. And we're going to remove that. And let's try to move all of this a little bit lower down, because this stuff is really all company information that we're going to want, but not yet. Can I move this down? Yeah, by clicking this arrow, I'm moving it to the very bottom. It's a long post, which is good. We want nice, long long format blog posts, right? So now we've got that at the bottom, where to buy it. Perfect. We're going to open with something that's a little bit more relevant to the readers, which is, let's go to the top, mulch. Complete your garden with one of our natural Canadian mulches. And then look at these benefits. Give a clean professional finish. Enhance moisture retention. Increase weed suppression. So this is going to grab people much more effectively than here's where we are, what we do, and how we deliver stuff. Nobody really cares about what you deliver until they know why they want what you deliver. So here we're opening with a much stronger opening there. We could even open with a question like, why would you want mulch? Why would you buy mulch? Let's see what kind of questions are in the visualization. What mulch is best? What mulch to use? When to mulch a garden? That when, let's grab that one. And let's go back into the post here. Where am I? There it is. And there I did pre-read this before writing or recording this video. And I noticed that there was an answer to when to buy. So let's throw a new section in there, which is going to be a heading. We always want to make sure we have these nice headings because headings are important for Google search. When Google sees your keyword in those headings, which in this case is mulch, it's going to know that this article is useful for people who are searching for mulch. So let's look at that right here. Let's paste that in. When mulch garden, we're going to make that a little bit more human readable by saying when to mulch your garden. Want those capital letters to make it look nice and professional on the front, capital, 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 all the way across the title. And while we're at it, let's stick mulch into our SEO software at the bottom. I've installed the plugin Yoast, and it is going to help us scan this content and understand how we can improve it. So under add related key phrase, focus key phrase, because we have the free version, we're going to stick mulch. And now it's going to scan our article and see how we're doing for mulch here. And it's going to provide suggestions. Don't worry about it all being in red and orange. We're just going to tackle these one at a time. And the first thing we can tackle is the slug. Part of your key phrase does not appear in the slug. Change that. The slug is the URL of this post. This up here. So grounded bed cover. We're going to change the whole title and that will change the slug, or you can manually change the slug. Actually, let's get rid of mulch here because we don't need a heading under a heading. This is going to be the name of the blog post itself. And there is an entire art to writing compelling, engaging blog titles. And you need to have more than just a description of what it is. You need to have benefits, you need to have emotion words in there, roundups, numbers. All of this stuff really helps blog articles get clicked. When you have an engaging title, you're going to get those clicks. And if you go over to, there's a wonderful post on HostGator, 10 tips for creating great blog titles that really encapsulates this and starts to shed light on the world and the art and the craft of creating fantastic, engaging, and compelling blog titles, blog article titles. So we've got keywords in there. We've got the benefit, which is to improve the website. We've got the number, which is 7. So it's when people see a number, they know that it's not this infinite, undefined, vague content they're about to get into and read. They know that it's finite. 7 feels approachable, whereas everything you need to know about, that could be, I don't know if I want to click that because I don't know if I have the time. Whereas 7 or 3, I feel like I could just skim that and get those. I could sneak in there and get that advice just by reading the headlines if I want. And sometimes decisions are made on a subconscious level just because of a number. So it's nice to include those numbers. What else do they have in here? Learn the popular headline formats. There's even a formula they give you, which is number plus adjective plus keyword, which is helpful for your search engine optimization, plus rationale and a promise. It's nice to have that promise, what they're going to get when they read the blog article. If you can include that in the title, it's going to really help the clicks. Equals the ultimate headline. So they elaborate on what I just kind of said there, and you can go over this in your own time. I won't get too into it, but you can see sort of some of these formulas starting to be given as examples. The secret of blank, or the little known tips for. Those are playing on that principle. You can see some of the top headline phrases. Will make you is very attracted, or will make your. So putting together a blog article title that said like 7 things that will make your yard stunning this spring. Things like that are really going to start making people want to click on it, because people want a stunning yard and they want it in 7 easy steps, or whatever the very clickable title is. Now, you want to balance that clickability with authenticity. You want to strike a balance where you're not just producing sort of clickbait and empty promises, because we've all clicked on those articles where you think you're getting you think you're going to get one thing, and then it ends up being just a bunch of fluff and the content isn't great. You ruin your credibility by doing that. So you want to make sure that, yes, you're accounting for a blog article title that's clickable and promises something, and then you want to make sure that your content delivers on that promise. That's sort of the 1-2 combination that's going to make people come back and trust you and read your content and become leads and start to engage with your brand and start buying your products and hiring your services. So that's a lot about blog titles. This article is great for it. You can study it to the nines. This is an entire art. It takes hundreds and thousands of attempts to start to write really effective blog titles. I'm still a novice at it. I'm still working on it. I'm trying to get better, but it is a craft. So let's have a shot. Let's just dive in here and take a crack at this title, which is about mulch. So we got to make sure the word mulch is in there. That's for sure. And we want to make sure that we're also accurate as to what we're giving people when they read this. So a number would be fantastic. I haven't gone through and counted how many benefits, but the benefits are there for sure. There's the everything you need to know option, but like I said, the everything you need to know could be daunting, so we might want to avoid that in this one. 7 ways mulch will make your landscape, that's a better keyword, look rich. That's a fun title. Everyone wants their landscape to look rich. We'd have to go back and figure out how many of these ways we're actually delivering on. So I've just stuck the 7 in there for now, but it would actually be, we would go through and we would probably create subheadings for it creates a professional finish, it enhances moisture retention, it increases weed suppression. So those are like 3 headings that we could actually elaborate on later on down the post. We want to break up our content a little bit so that we don't have large blocks of text. So this paragraph is starting to get a little bit big. We can maybe chop the end off of that and just make it a little bit airier, a little bit more scannable and readable. And while we're here, we're also going to look at alt tags, because this doesn't have an alternative text tag, and we want to make sure that we're capitalizing on that SEO by having the word mulch in that alt tag description, right? So if we go down to our way down to our Yoast, you're going to see alt tags, image alt attributes. Images on this page do not have alt attributes to reflect that topic in your text. So this one is an opportunity to fix that. If we click on it, and then over here, this is the alt attribute they're talking about, mulch, and then maybe the benefit. Mulch adds moisture to your garden and enriches the soil. So these are benefits that we've got some keywords in there. Some of those questions were asked and answered the public. We've got that applied to the alt text for this image. So that's going to help. As we go down and find more of those mulch pictures, we can add descriptive text. So mulch for sale at our depot and pricing when you buy in bulk. So we've got those keywords in there and mulch. So that's going to make Yoast, the SEO software, a bit happier. So let's see, what else do we have? Internal links. We don't have any internal links, so we want to add some of those. So going back up to the top, we want to make sure that the word mulch is linked externally and internally. So by that I mean it links out to authoritative websites about mulch. Let's go into Wikipedia. We'll grab the link to the mulch page, and that way people can hop in and learn more about this. Actually, let's use this as a quote. We'll paste that in as a quote. And then we'll write a citation and we'll link to it just by linking Wikipedia itself and making sure that it's opening in a new tab. And now I'll update that. Anything that ever kind of takes people away from your site, you want to do that in a new window. And anytime people are linking within your site, you do that in the same window. Those are just general good practices to keep people on your pages, or at least your pages open so they can come back to them. You're going to go through and break up all of the text. You're going to make sure that lists are single spaced. Right now we've got, these are just points. So it's actually a paragraph. You're going to want to turn that into a list. So that can become a list. So this is just a formatting thing, but it's important to make sure that you're correctly formatting all of this stuff, right? So we're grabbing that. We're going to list this out properly by removing the paragraphs and having this as an actual list. And these are all opportunities for more pictures with the alt tag mulch, right? So you would want to go back through and add a picture for each of these mulches, and then in each of those pictures you're going to want to have the alt tag text description for SEO purposes and have that benefit. So you're always just kind of looking for additional ways to provide content around the search word or phrase that you're trying to optimize for. So now we've got all of these bullet points. They're no longer paragraphs, but it's actually a list, which is how you want it. And you want to make sure that the word mulch is in the list, because shredded pine is the type of mulch, but we want to get that word in there, right, for search engine optimization. So shredded pine, mulch, and we're going to copy that, and we're actually going to put it enhanced black beauty mulch, auburn mulch, hemlock mulch. How many spaces? Just one. Red mulch, classic cedar mulch. You're going to get real sick of me saying the word mulch, mocha mulch, all that mulch. CPM, composted pine mulch. Okay, so you can see that we're actually getting a lot more keywords, mulch keywords in here. We don't want to stuff this content with keywords. We don't want to overdo it, but this is an appropriate case where you're actually listing out the types of mulch you have. We might want to switch the word purchasing here to buying. We recommend the latter month of May or June to buy your mulch, because we know that that's something that people are searching for, is where to buy your mulch and applying it to your landscape. We've got the benefits down there too, which is great. We're just going to make sure that's a title, right? So we're going to switch that to heading. Benefits of mulch. And we want a number in there, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There we go. So we could actually use that same thing up here. 13 ways mulch will make your landscape look richer. And then when they come down to this list, they'll see those 13 points. And you would actually want to elaborate on each of these points to make sure that you've got more of an explanation for each, and that'll just help fill out the article and add richer content to this page. Okay, so that list is now cleaned up and it's in list form. We just want to make sure that anytime we have a list, it's actually formatted as a list, not as paragraphs. And same thing would need to happen here for benefits of mulch. Common mulching mistakes, let's make sure that that is a heading. Soils and amendments, that's actually going to be its own blog article. And you would actually continue to follow the advice here for each of these suggestions that the software is asking you to provide, right? So key phrase and slug would go back to the top. And got mulch in there, but didn't update the slug. So let's make sure that slug gets updated by editing it. And we'll go 13 ways mulch will make your landscape look rich. Save. And now when we go back down, we'll see that that point has been tackled. Key phrase in slug. Where are you? There it is. So it now took that suggestion and dropped it down to the bottom. Key phrase and title, the exact match of the key phrase appears in the title, but not at the beginning. They want it at the beginning. So this is where there's a bit of a trade-off, because you want it to be very clickable as a title, but you also, there's going to be some fighting between creating a really nice title and it also satisfying the SEO software. So in this case, I'm going to leave mulch where it is. It's the third word after 13 in ways. So it's, in my opinion, good enough where it is. If you were to stick it at the very front, you might sacrifice the number of people who are actually going to click it because the title isn't quite as good. So we're going to leave key phrase and title where it is. Image alt attributes. Out of the 10 images on this page, only 2 have alt attributes. So you'd have to go through and make sure that each of the mulch pictures has its own attribute, and that'll be helped by moving that soil section into, and the decorative stone section into its own blog post. And then that way this software won't be picking up on those images. They'll be in their own post and being tracked separately. The SEO title width is a little wider than the viewable limit, making it shorter. Again, that's about rewriting the title until it's nice and condensed and concise. Often I rewrite a title like 20 times before I get to the perfect one. Meta description length, there is no meta description. So let's make sure we add one by going into, where are we? Meta description. Sometimes can be tricky to find. Edit snippet. Here we are. Meta description. Mulch adds value to your landscape in 13 beneficial ways. Buy our mulch and add it to your gardens to increase soil nutrients, protect vegetation, and clean up appearance. Oh, it's too long. So we'll just go like this. And protect vegetation. So it's happy. We've got mulch in there twice. Mulch, mulch. So when I go down, you're going to see that that meta description is now green. So that's how you continually improve and search engine optimize your blog posts. The same thing will need to happen for readability. So there's the broad key phrase optimizations, and then there's also a readability analysis. So when you're going through the actual content of your article, you can click on these eyeballs and you can see consecutive sentences that start with the same word. So when I click that, it'll highlight in purple all of the sentences that start with the same word, and that just makes it harder for, or less engaging for people to read. We're looking for purple, which is where they're seeing mistakes. We could also just mix these up, right? So if I take this and go like that and just stagger them a bit, just so that it's not consecutive, that should help it. And sometimes the software isn't perfect. You can see that provides isn't a consecutive sentence with other words there. So it takes a while sometimes for it to respond and adjust itself. And I actually don't see any more purple. So I would go down and I would expect that in readability, that consecutive sentences is now green. So that's how you would fix readability piece by piece until the entire article is reading as green. Another big one is subheading distribution. You'll remember that higher up we had added when to mulch your garden. That's a subheading. So you would look at big blocks of text and you want to make sure to add subheadings to break it up, because visually it's hard to approach a big block of text like that as a reader. It can be intimidating, whereas it's way more attractive to approach like chunks of maybe 3 paragraphs max, and then add another picture, add another subheading. And then that way, when people are just trying to scan your content, they're going to actually engage with your post for longer periods of time. And they will tackle big articles if the whole article is spread out with nice picture distribution, some quotes, some titles. The more you have big blocks of text, the less people are going to be likely to take it on. They're going to see it and then go, whoa, that's way too much. And they might not read the whole thing. They might just leave. So that's what that refers to with subheading distribution. And I won't go through all of these. I just wanted to skim over the value of what can be sort of leveraged by using this plugin to its full capacity here in the free version. It talks about paragraph length, passive voice. These are all things that if you click on the links, a new Yoast suggestion page will pop up and you can read about how to make these adjustments the way they're sort of suggesting that you do. So I always suggest clicking on those and learning about how to do what they're suggesting that you do. So we've made some great progress here on getting this mulch article cleaned up. We'd want to split the soil post into its own and the stones post, in the decorative stones, into its own pages and perform the same optimizations to those. And that way each article stands to sort of permeate out into social media a lot more effectively, standing on its own optimized search phrases. And also each of those articles is going to stand a much better chance of appearing in organic search and Google search, and then sending traffic to your site, just because they've each been they've all benefited from this attention, this individual attention and treatment of being able to be optimized by themselves, as opposed to having this larger blog post that includes the 3 broad subjects. You always want to be as specific as possible. So I really hope that this video is helpful and really adds some value to your blogging process, makes your blogs more successful, and gets those leads, gets that traffic to your website, and ultimately increases sales to your business. If you haven't checked out my early wins checklist, that's also something that you might want to have a look at. I'll link to that below this video, so that if you want to or are interested in free methods to add a whole bunch more leads to your business, bring in those leads and start getting some of that traffic, those free methods are aggregated in early wins checklist. So you can check that out in the link below. Thanks for watching. Remember to hit the thumbs up if you found this helpful. Thanks.